vision received was that of blood cells, traveling throughout the body, supplying the much-needed oxygen and other nutrients to the differing members of the body to fulfill their purpose. Once the blood cells are spent, they must return back to the heart to be refilled before being sent out again and fulfill their purpose. The following is recorded in Matthew 14, verses 15 through 21. When it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Send the multitudes away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves food." But Jesus said to them, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish." He said, "Bring them here to me." Then he commanded the multitudes to sit down on the grass, and he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke, and gave the loaves to the disciples, and the disciples gave to the multitudes. So they all ate and were filled, and they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments that remained. Now those who had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. When it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Send the multitudes away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves food." How many times have we been in the evening, lost and without direction? How many times have we been in the evening and then also in the desert place, feeling tired, broken, wounded, doubtful, hungry and thirsty, and needing refreshment for ourselves? And at the same time, we find ourselves at night in this desert place. We are surrounded by a multitude of people who are in need themselves of sustenance. We come crying to the Lord about how we can't go on any longer, asking him to send these people away to get their own sustenance. But Jesus said to them, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." And they said, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish." In the midst of our need to feed ourselves and find direction, being so drained of all that we have been through thus far, having only the means in which to feed ourselves, let alone all those people surrounding us, our provider, who knows intimately our situation and our provision, gently says to us, "Feed them." We cry out in our humanity and weakness, "What? Don't you know I'm so spent? I only have enough energy to get to bed, and you want me to go back out and feed them?" We take our eyes so easily off our Jesus and place them so conveniently on our circumstances and say, "But this is all I have, Jesus." He said, "Bring them here to me." Jesus, in his uniquely quiet, gentle patience, knowing beforehand our feelings and response, says, "Bring me what you do have." Jesus then takes what little we do have, that we willingly and voluntarily give to him, at his request, in doubtful obedience, I might add, and blesses it. The little that is humanly impossible to accomplish the insurmountable task that he has set before us when he told us to feed them, somehow, unbeknownst to us, has now been multiplied in a humanly incomprehensible fashion to feed the multitude that needed sustenance, more than likely, more than we personally did. How is this possible? How can that be? I wasn't able to do that on my own. So true are the words spoken in your heart when you witness the miracle that took place before you, and you realize, with God, all things are possible. You finally ask yourself, what manner of God is this, that he can take my weakness and my doubt and make the impossible possible. Not only for me, but for others around me. Then he commanded the multitudes to sit down on the grass, and he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke, and gave the loaves to the disciples, and the disciples gave to the multitudes. After the fact, not only are you awed by the event you just witnessed, but you realize, I was a part of this miracle. You realize God blessed what little you had. He blessed it and he broke it, the meagerly means that you had to offer, and he gave it back to you in a multiplied fashion, and you served that blessing to others that truly needed it. The people thanked you and praised God. They saw you give them their sustenance and praise God for it. You were given the revelation, the blessing from God that they needed. So they all ate and were filled, and they took up 12 baskets full of the fragrance that remained. Not only was the multitude fed, but they were filled. They didn't just have a portion wanting more, they were full. And then you realize that you started out with a scanty 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And when God was through with what you willingly and voluntarily offered of yourself in service to him, you ended up having for yourself 12 baskets full. In other words, you had more now than when what you started with, because God blessed your obedience. You realize then, he was not only thinking of the multitude, he was thinking of you all along as well. Bring this to your remembrance. Next time that night comes and you're in that desert place crying out to the Lord, and serve him. Because to serve him is to serve others. To feed him is to feed others. To sacrifice unto him is to sacrifice unto others. If you were blessed and appreciate listening to this podcast and you would like to support us in our efforts, consider lifting us up in prayer first. Then remember these 4 social media buzzwords: share, like, subscribe, or follow. Share this podcast link with someone else by text, email, or word of mouth in the hopes that they might be uplifted as you were. Like by leaving a positive rating or review with whomever you listen to our podcast with. Subscribe to support the show monetarily with the link in our podcast description. Follow us on all our social media platforms. May God bless you and make you prosperous in him as you listen and obey his voice.